Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vandy as well, back in on the Card 5 Vanguard deck profiles. If you guys enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the Patreon. Let's get on started, shall we? Today we have Angel Feather, Ramiel, Reverse Dotto, Celestials. So, this is one of my questionable ones where I don't like the cards. Let me rephrase that. I do not like the grade 3 that was released. But at the same time, I do think it's good, just not in my hands. But I'm doing a deck profile on it anyways, in case people want to know about it. But for the record, I am not good with Celestials at all, especially the new ones. So if you want professional advice on Celestials or Angel Feather in general, actually I might be able to help with some Angel Feather deck, but not Celestials, go somewhere else. If you want to hear a stupid man's opinion, here we are. So let's go ahead and get this deck profile started, shall we? First up, our starter today is First Aid Celestial Peniel. Grade 0, boost, 10k shield, 6k base, auto, when rolled upon, draw a card, then if your opponent's Vanguard's greater or greater, you get a quick shield, take it to your hand. Standard starter, nothing too special about it. You get a draw, you get a quick shield. You run this because it is a Celestial. There are no cards that require this. I run it because it has a Celestial name, and I refuse to run non-Celestials if there is a choice. That is why it is here. Don't be me if you don't want to be me, but yeah. Grade 0s, we run 4 draw PG and battle Cupid Nociel. Grade 0, boost, 0 shield, 5k base, draw trigger, change sound and 4 sounds in your deck and auto guard circle. When placed, discard a card from your hand and one of you cannot be turned to battle. Standard PG, nothing too special about it. You get that draw, you get that PG down. I prefer the draw PG over crits, 12 crits, because like, you don't need 12 crits in this deck, and you do want draws because while you can do some damage zone fuckery, to do said damage zone fuckery, you need cards that can apply to said damage zone fuckery. So, you know, the draws help get them, and you don't really need 12 crits when you've got like 2 extra attacks, and seeing 1 crit makes one of them dangerous enough, especially when you can prevent them from guarding the Vanguard. So, 4 draw PG and Nociel. We have 8 crit and critical hit Angel and 4 hot shot Celestial Samyaza. Like I said, if there was a Celestial other crit, I would have also picked it. So we got the 8 crits there for pressure. And we got 4 heals here in Sunny Smile Angel. I have said it enough of why I do not like Heal Guardians. If you want a better description, go to a video from like 4 weeks ago. I believe it's a Locked video that just says, I don't like Heal Guardians because so-and-so. If you want the shortened down description of it, it is, they are detrimental to my playstyle. That doesn't mean they're not good, or that you shouldn't run them. If you want to run them, or you like running them, run them. I prefer not to run them, because even in the deck that I run them in, they bite me severely in the ass, and the only reason they are there is solely because they are grade 3s, but it is not probably for the deck you think it is. So, yeah, that's my preferred heal. Grade 1 time. 4 copies of the thing I hate because I hate its skill. Nursing Celestial Narelle. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 8k base. I love its wings though. The wings look really good. Auto rear at the start of your main phase. If you have a Vanguard Celestial in its card name, literally guaranteed as long as you're not on a trigger, shove it to damage zone and draw a card. And then choose a face up grade 2 or less from your damage zone, put it to your soul. Okay, you know, Ramiel sometimes runs into soul problems, so really nice that it gives us soul and it gets us a free damage replacement and it gets us a draw out of it. And act damage zone once per turn. Soul blast once, search effort to 1 card Celestial with a different card name than any of your other face-up damage. Put it to damage zone and shuffle your deck. And if you put a card, you put this to soul. So you just swap in a card for a different thing, and really cool, and the fact that you can loop it in the same turn with the other one is really nice. My thing about this is I hate this card solely because it involves me actually reading it to know how it works. I'm very dumb. Like, if you can't tell, I don't like Celestials because a lot of their skills involve you, like, setup plays, and while I love setup decks, certain setup decks I hate because a lot of their skills require setup, such as Steam Maidens. And this. I like the end result. I hate the work that I have to do to get through, especially when I hate reading the cards. But all around, it's a good card, genuinely. Like, it nets you a possible counter charge. Well, technically it doesn't net you a counter charge. It just nets you a replacement damage and a draw and a soul at the same time, while also getting you a different card in damage zone by sending herself to soul and soul blasting one, which allows you to activate other effects for things like, say for example, because Ramiel requires you to have face-up cards in damage zone equal to your rear guards have names of the face-up cards in damage zone. This allows you to get one of the rear guards that you have into your damage zone. So 4 copies of Narelle because she's honestly a really good grade 1. But not a grade 1 ride target. 4 copies of literally my favorite grade 1 ever, or maybe not ever, but definitely an Angel Feather. Underlay Celestial Hesediel. Grade 1 boost, 10k base, 8k shield. Okay, swap those. 8k base, 10k shield. Auto rear when placed from hand. Counterblast 1 and swap a unit card from your hand with a card in your damage zone. Put it face up. AKA, counterblast the card you want to take out of the damage zone. Swap it with a hand card. And then boom, you just got a free hand card and setup place for Hesediel. Literally, hands down, my favorite grade 1 that has ever existed in Angel Feather. And best part is, because of how Protect Gifts work, if you put a Protect Gift into the damage zone, you heal it. Which means you could call this, counterblast the thing you want to add to your hand, show a Protect Gift in damage zone, get the thing you want out of damage zone that you counterblasted into your hand, because it doesn't require you to pick something face up. And then boom, Protect Gift. You heal one. Hesediel is literally the best grade 1 in this deck. 4 of, I want to hear nothing about it. 4 copies of our last grade 1 in the main grade 1 right target, and the only grade 1 right target, Spine Celestial Jophiel. Grade 1, boost, 10k shield, 8k base. Auto when it's rolled upon. Choose a card from your damage zone and you may swap it with a unit card in your hand. That's the downside. Oh, sorry, yeah, Hesediel does require a unit card. Never mind. Good news is I've never actually swapped a Protect Gift with it, so yeah, Hesediel does require a unit card, so don't get that mixed up, but it sucks that you have to pick a unit card. It does. But, it really does that you have to pick a, swap a unit card for this. But, the good side is you can actually use it to your advantage. Like, say, for example, you have a Ramiel in damage, and you have a, in your grade lock, by the way, and you have, like, 2 copies of a grade 2 in hand, you can send one of those grade 2s to damage zone, and then fetch a Ramiel from damage zone. So now you're set up for next turn, while also getting, well, in terms of having a grade 3, but you're also set up in the sense that as long as you keep that as a grade 2 alive, you can reset it with Ramiel, or use his ability with Ramiel. So all around, that's really good. And auto, when it's placed on rear guard from hand, counterblast 1 and bind this unit, and if you put the top card of your deck into damage zone, at the end of that turn, you may put this unit into drop. If you put into drop, you choose a card from your damage zone, you add it to hand. So you can suicide bomber with this, and what I mean by that is, you counterblast 1 and bind it just to take a damage, and because it says put the top card deck in damage, so I'm pretty sure heals don't go off from this, so if you just wanted to smite your opponent and not allow them to win, you can counterblast 1 and bind it just to deal yourself a damage, to say, fuck you, you don't get to kill me if I kill myself first. But yeah, all around that's really good, because it allows you just to get a damage card to hand, and could possibly get you something that you need into a damage that you need to bounce to hand. So all around, Jophiel acts as like a miniature toolbox, and I like her for it. So I give her a 4-up. Only downside is she technically does nothing on rear, because the second you call her to rear, she will disappear. And then we on to grade 2s. 2 copies of Wild Shot Celestial Raguel. Every deck I put her in, she gets worse and worse. First it was Ergodo, where she was really good. Then it was the Gabriel temporary deck. God, she was horrible in that. Then previous Celestials. Nope. Then this one. She is PG fodder now. Grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, 9k base. Auto rear, when placed from hand, if a new card is put to damage on this turn. Counterblast 1, call something from drop. Yeah, that's used. In the worst case scenario, yes, the Ramiels net you a counter charge, but no. You use this in the scenario where you need a board, or the card that you have in drop is a card you have in damage zone. That's what this is here for. Worst case scenario, and you need to kill them now. 2 of. 3 of Rear Impetus Celestial Armaiti. Grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, 9k base. Auto van and rear when placed from hand, soul box 1, call a card from your damage zone to rear guard, and put the top card of your deck into your damage zone face down. Here's why this is here. There are multiple ways to swap out face down damage zone cards back into your hand, such as Hesediel back here, and this thing. So it's not the end of the world using those, and as for this one, these basically do the same thing except for different zones, and even though Soul Blast is not really preferred in this case, it's better than spamming like 3 counterblasts when you need more face-up cards than anything, and this only nets you 1 face down. So 3 copies of Armaiti, because it can be useful, but also PG fodder. 4 copies of something that isn't PG fodder. Candle Celestial Sariel, arguably the best grade 2 in this deck. Actually, no, that is a false statement. It's not the best. It is not the worst, guaranteed, because that honor belongs to this thing. But it is definitely not the best, because that goes to the next one. Anyways, Sariel, grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, 9k base. I love these wings and this art all around. Like it looks really realistic. Auto, when it's placed on van or rear, counterblast 1 and soul blast 1, search and divert to 1 normal unit of any kind, regardless of what its name is, and shove it to damage zone to shuffle your deck. If you put a card, you heal the damage. Cool. And then continues rear guard. If your damage zone is 1 or less face down cards, it gets boost. So a 9k booster that can restand. Okay, that's pretty good. But also, she allows you to set up your damage zone. Which is, and you can get a copy of her, you can get a copy of anything else on your board. Frankly, you don't have to even get something on your board, you can just get anything and shove it to damage zone. And you can use it by like riding her on top of this thing, and then setting your grade 3 to damage zone that you want to ride, and then swap it with a unit in your hand. So, you know, all around Sariel's a really good grade 2. I really wish she didn't cost a soul boss for her skill, but I think that's the only way to balance her, so 4 copies. And then, hands down, the best grade 2 in Angel Feather, except for maybe the exception of 2 other cards, and Mandala knows what one of them is because it's his arch nemesis. But this one is really good. Emergency Celestial Danielle. Grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, 9k base. Auto when it's placed from hand, when it's placed from hand on van or rear, discard a card, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as any face-up card in your damage zone, call it to rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. If you call a unit without Celestial in its card name, counterblast 2. Counterblast 1 damage if you have 1 face-up card. So, in any deck, while yes, counterblasting 2 isn't really that fair, you literally get to get a more or less free search for a card, but also, this thing allows you to net your entire deck in a Celestial deck for only a discard and allows you to get like perfect board setup. Sariel into a Sariel, net a an Armaiti, then use this to get then get Armaiti. Boom, you gotta call him. Danielle's really good. I literally have no complaints about Danielle. Danielle is literally my favorite grade 2 in this deck. 4 of. It's an amazing card. And then we have our grade 3s. 4 copies of what I think is the better grade 3 out of the 2. Prophecy Celestial Ramiel. Grade 3, Twin Drive, Protect Gift, 12k base, Auto Van, when it attacks into anything. Soul Boss 1, Countercharge 1. Then stand all your rear guards with the same card name as any face-up card in your damage zone. For every 2 units stood, draw a card, and all your rear guards get +5 for the turn. Good news is not for every 2 different named units standing, because that would require that you have 4 cards in damage zone. So that's really good, that it can stand your rear guards. If it said units, that would be a bit too good, because they would have to once per turn this, but also that is really easy to get 5 cards into damage zone with all the same name as your units. So yeah, but that's a free 2. That's more or less a free 2 draws and +10 to the board. I mean +10 to the rear guards. So all around, I think that's really good. You get a counter charge, you get an extra 2 attacks, and both of them got +10 on them possibly, and you get 2 draws. So I like Ramiel for that, but then also Auto Van Rear at the start of your ride phase. If your damage zone has 4 or more cards, you may put the top card of your deck into damage zone. If you do, you choose a card in your damage zone, you add it to hand, and if it was on rear, you shove it to soul. So way to get soul if it's on rear, so it's a nice supporting grade 3. And it can net you a card from the top of your deck and or damage zone into your hand. And it allows you to get a counter charge for free, basically. So all around, Ramiel's a really good grade 3, whether it's on van and or rear. And I never used it when it first came out, because all I was doing is focused on spamming Raguel like there's no tomorrow, because I had a grudge against Raguel and I really wanted to use it, and I would never use Ramiel except for that second ability. So now that I get to use it, I think it's really good. I thought it was really good anyways, but 4 of. And then the last unit is our main quote-unquote grade 3. Our finisher, quote-unquote. Cleanup Celestial Ramiel Reverse. Grade 3, Twin Jet, Protective, 12k base. Auto Van, at the start of your battle phase, Countercharge 1. Yeah, okay, for the record, we can already all see that's mandatory. If it doesn't have a cost, it is mandatory. Then lock all your rear guards with different card names and any face-up cards in your damage zone. Then for every 2 rear guards, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, nuke it, and it gets +20 until end of turn. So after you lock your board, for every 2 units that are not locked, it gets +20 and they kill a rear guard. That's good. Nets you a counter charge, so increases your chances of not getting screwed over by this, and that's a lot of power to add off of 2 units, but still, the max you get from that in this deck is 52, which is a good number. Don't get me wrong, but against a lot of decks, that might not do a lot. And then Auto Van, when it swings into anything, Soul Boss 1 grade 3, and this unit gets a drive for the battle, and your opponent may counterblast 2. If they do not, then until end of battle, when your opponent would call cards from hand to guard circle, they must call the same number of cards from their hand to guard circle as the number of cards in your damage zone or more at the same time. So if you have 5 damage zone cards, they call 5. Okay. Yeah, that does a lot against a certain number of decks that have counterblast problems. Here's my thing though. Against a lot of underrated quote-unquote decks, this doesn't do a lot. Like, for example, Blazing Flare. Blazing Flare gets around this. Or at least the way I play Blazing Flare gets around this very easily. Same with, there was a deck I named earlier, but I don't remember what it is. But I named a deck earlier that can also get around this. Basically, any deck that doesn't involve Counterblast can get around this easily, and to be fair, it is a good finisher in the sense that it's a 52 with triple drive, and a lot of people are probably going to split the shit out of this with extra crits. But, I don't know, it just doesn't seem that poppin'. Like, I've gone back to the days where I say poppin'. It's a good card, to say the least. It's just, it's very situational to the point where it feels like it's barely better than the original finishers, such as like Waterfall or Victorious Deer. Victorious Deer is my favorite finisher back when it was released. But yeah, it's, a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. I'm in the middle. It's both good and bad in its own right. If you give me the choice between riding this or riding this, I would ride this to flex, but that's pretty much it. I would ride this if I was actually trying to win, because if you know me, I do prefer restand, so I am slightly more biased towards this. But if I was going to actually try to win, I would probably ride on this, just because, I don't know, this has seemed to have been proving easier for me to win with over this thing where I get less attacks and the only dangerous thing is the Vanguard. So, yeah. 4 of a Ramiel, because it's a finisher, but then after the turn that you would use for finishing, it's not really that good. And then we have our gifts. 6 protects 2, 6 protect 1. I don't imagine the game will go long enough for either of these to be brought to their full maximum. Protect 1 when acquired goes to your hand. It's a sentinel in auto guard circle and places card from your hand. One of yours cannot be turned to battle. And protect 2 when acquired, put it on the rear guard circle, and the unit on that circle gets plus 5 power, plus 5k during both players' turns, and it gets plus 10k shield when it intercepts, and it just stacks. So if you have 3 on the same circle, plus 15 when permanently, and plus 30k shield when it intercepts, 5 plus 25 permanently, and plus 50 when it intercepts, etc., etc. I do think this is a deck where it can go interchangeable depending on what you ride first. Like, for example, if you ride Ramiel Reverse first, go Protect 1, because no pressure from Reverse will ever make the rear guards powerful unless you sack 3 crits in a consecutive row, and give them all to the rear guards. So I think Protect 2 would be better if you were to go, ride this first, which is preferable, but if you do ride this first, go Protect 1. But Protect 2, it works with the restanding aspect of this thing, and if you're forced to sit on this, which isn't the end of the road, in fact, I think it's better to sit on this for at least 1 turn, you get extra power out of it, you get extra guarding, and you can probably force out more hand guards. So I prefer Protect 2. If you get Ramiel Reverse first, go Protect 1. And then our Quick Shield, which is when one of you is attacked, it gets plus 5k for the battle. Nothing too special about it. Standard discard fodder that you would use for this thing, who literally is the best grade 2 in this deck. And that's it for the deck, so hope you guys enjoyed. All around, this deck is not something I enjoy playing when I use Reverse, just because it's not my favorite card in the deck to look at. I'll use it because, like, either testing or just because I want to flex or I'm gonna win, so I might as well use it. But I do just prefer the original Ramiel because I like standing, I like the power it gets, I like the draws it gets, but all around, like, the deck is good. It has a really good grade 2 who can search your entirety of the deck and call it. We have another good grade 2 who can just fetch your entirety of the deck and put in the damage zone. We have an amazing grade 1 who I love spamming. We have another amazing grade 1 who works as the same thing as a ride grade 1. And it's just a fun strategy deck to play. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Donate to the Patreon, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you all next one. Don't forget to stand up your Vanguards.